First the issue. I coulda stopped him. I coulda stopped him. It's me. It's me. Definitely my fault. Definitely my fault.
No, I'm gonna do me. I'm gonna do me regardless. I told him to leave his moms and, the people home, and he still broke them. It's crazy, man. It's gonna get bad. It's gonna get bad, man. But, it's all love.
GervontaDavis is causing trouble again by arguing with Lamont Roach on social media. Davis said he could have won the fight but let Roach win. Many people, including Roach, fans, and boxing experts, disagreed. Some experts even said Roach would have won no matter what, even with the knockdown.
You learn. I definitely could have. That was on me too. That was on me for sure. Because I didn't pick it up when I was supposed to pick it up. And I could have definitely did more. Definitely did more. He caught me with a good shot, but it was times that I sat in there with him and I'm like, damn, this guy like super slow. Well, not super slow, but he's slow. And I could have took advantage of the moments, but
most people believe Lamont Roach won the fight, especially because of the knockdown. They think he was only cheated because all the judges gave the 9th round to GervontaDavis. Many say Davis should have been disqualified or punished if the judges had made the right decision. But after Davis said Roach only won because he allowed it, the debate has grown even bigger. Some even say Davis didn't deserve to win, even without the knockdown.
I was boxing too much in the beginning, and when I felt like he was slow, it was just already late down the line.
Many people think Roach Jr. and his team have a good chance to change the fight result if they appeal. But even though Roach tried to get the knockdown officially recognized, his request was denied. Frustrated, he shared his thoughts on X, saying, "Y'all are crazy if you think Buddy had an off night. It just feels different when you're in the ring with me. I told y'all from the start, just because I feel like I won doesn't mean I said it was easy. The knockdown gives me a UD," he later added. "I handled that in the ring. Ailey, don't come at me with this bias. I know he's your guy, but let it go. I'm not suing anyone, just making sure my clear knockdown, which they robbed me of, gets recognized." Get it right, man. Report that.
Oh, he like, "Now you gonna give it to you?" I said, "Oh, is that right?" So, that's how boxing work. It's sad to say, that's how boxing work. I'm not like totally upset. I figured with a superstar, you won't get too much on paper.
When someone mentioned that overturning the knockdown would give Roach Jr. a split decision win instead of a unanimous decision, he quickly responded, "The guy who scored. The fight for Tank gave him that round. If the knockdown counts as 10-8 for me, that's a 3-point swing, so I would have won that card too. Go back to your cave, casual." Roach Jr. was right. If the knockdown had been counted, he would have won by unanimous decision instead of a split decision. But he probably would have been happy with either result. The main takeaway from the Davis-Roach fight wasn't that Davis-Tank was exposed or had a bad night. It was that Roach fought with skill and strategy, making things very difficult for Davis.
Think about what happened in the 9th round. How frustrated are you that wasn't counted as a knockdown?
Man.
That doesn't mean Tank shouldn't be criticized for his performance. Many people have pointed out that his slow starts and careful punch selection either cost him the fight or almost did, depending on how you see it. His actions in the 9th round, like taking a knee and thinking he could call a timeout, plus asking his corner to wipe grease from his eyes during the fight, have added to the criticism. People also said that he seemed to get special treatment from referee Willis. Roach deserves more praise than Davis deserves criticism. He went up against an elite counterpuncher and out-countered him, landing sharp right hands in response to Davis's left hooks. He didn't fall for Tank's tricks, but stayed patient, setting up smart traps of his own.
I damn sure thought I had it, especially when they announced the score for him. I was like, oh, they gonna give me a split decision win. I was like, oh, yeah. Honestly, I thought I should have won without that being counted a knockdown. Look, I ain't the ref. I ain't really, you know what I'm saying? Like, if he had to wipe.
When Roach traded punches, he did it just long enough to earn Davis's respect before quickly moving away. He also showed an incredible chin. While his defense, timing, and counterpunching helped him avoid most big shots, he still took a few solid hits to the jaw and stayed on his feet until the final bell, something most of Tank's opponents don't manage to do. Many in the boxing world saw this fight as a one-sided mismatch, but sharper analysts knew Roach was a real threat who could make it competitive. Still, almost no one expected the Reaper to cut through Tank's perfect record.
The white shot out his eye, but the rules do state if you voluntarily take a knee, then that's an automatic 8 count. But it is what it is. I wasn't relying on that. I was relying on what I was doing in there. I think I was taking control. I think I was landing more shots. I think I was landing more.
This fight is a lesson for top boxers. They should take big fights when they can, because sometimes an easy tune-up fight can ruin everything. That said, Davis can fix his reputation quickly. He just needs to get an immediate rematch with Roach and win. At the post-fight press conference, Davis hinted at a bigger fight coming first, but didn't say against who. Some think it could be Shakur Stevenson, but if that was the plan, this performance has made that fight much less exciting.
But as soon as I heard that 114, I was just like, damn, all right, it's over with. So, yeah, man, it's just crazy. I ain't gonna lie. Like, it's okay. We gonna run it back. It's okay. But if that was kind of a knockdown, I would win the majority decision.
Yeah, Lamont, this is...
A fight like Tank versus Shakur, meant to decide the best American boxer under 30, needs both fighters to be at their best. It wouldn't look good if one comes in fresh while the other is coming off a fight that most people think he lost. That's why Davis needs a rematch with Roach. Winning won't be easy, but it's the only way to rebuild hype for future fights, with Stevenson and other top opponents. Having a draw on his record isn't a huge problem, but people thinking he was the second best fighter in his last match is. To change that, he needs a clear and convincing win, one that erases any doubt.
At first, though, that's why.
I don't know. Did y'all see me in the ring tell him to keep counting? he started counting. I was like, why you stop? Like, keep counting. But I honestly don't know. I don't know. But
Davis versus Roach 2 needs to happen next, and it should be in a place where Davis's Baltimore fans and Roach's DC supporters can come together to create an electric atmosphere. It also needs to be held somewhere that ensures New York's Willis, who, despite being a good referee most of the time, played a controversial role in the first fight, is not involved. That brings us to Tank Davis. Once seen as boxing's biggest rising star and the next Floyd Mayweather, he now faces the toughest test of his career, not just in the ring but within himself. For the first time, he has to fight his way back from a position he's never been in before.
Fight. Yeah, just didn't do enough work. I thought that Roach's game plan was.
Davis went into the fight as a huge favorite, expected to score his 29th knockout against Roach, who was making his lightweight debut in front of a pro-Davis crowd. But this time, Tank couldn't deliver the explosive finish fans were used to seeing from him. Instead, Roach held his ground, took Davis's best shots, and fired back, stunning both Davis and the crowd. Known for his patience, Davis started, slow, waiting for Roach to make a mistake, but that mistake never came. Roach stayed focused and disciplined, never giving Davis the chances he needed to take control. At first, Davis smiled and talked to Roach, but as the fight went on, he had to get serious, realizing his opponent wouldn't break under pressure. Interestingly, Roach Jr., now 29, had lost to Davis in the amateurs, but this time he proved to be a completely different fighter.
You might scare nobody. It's all about the bread at the end of the day. In the perfect world, if I could have it, how I want to have it, thank God Lamont Roach made a name for 135 division because we needed somebody.
Okay.
Let's be real. So now we got a new person. Thank God. So now we got Lamont Roach. If I could have it my way,
trying to bait, but Roach was just really patient. Roach was patient, bro. He was tight. He was patient, and he wasn't really rushing in. And every now and then he'll make a mistake. He'll like, probably like lunge a little bit or reach with the right hand, and then he got countered. You know what I'm saying? But he didn't give a whole lot of, and it made me really think.
Davis and Roach's careers went in different directions after they turned pro. Davis became a big star, while Roach stayed a strong fighter. Even though Davis knocked out Ryan Garcia in 2023, he almost lost his title to Wei. Roach because of a poor performance. Roach, who was well prepared and confident, made Davis realize that the knockout wouldn't come.
They were trying to go
By
off
the middle of the fight,
what
Davis
happened
had
in
to
the
change
past,
his
and that was the
approach,
wrong answer.
focusing on body shots.
Lamont
while Roach kept
acting like he
pushing
know
forward
he
and
won
landing
and
counters.
stroking his
Although
beard at the
Davis hit
same
some good
time.
shots in the final rounds, he couldn't hurt Roach, and the fight ended in a draw. Davis kept his title, but left with questions about his performance. A Davis's performance has made some boxing fans wonder if he's still at the top of his game. Former two-weight world champion Paulie Malignaggi has shared his thoughts ahead of the possible rematch. Malignaggi, who knows about rematches after beating Juan Diaz and Love Morindu in their second fights, told ProBox TV that he thinks there's a mental issue with Tank. Malignaggi said that people have been talking about this behind the scenes for years, but it's never been openly discussed. He believes this could explain why Davis has often fought against underdogs with records like 15-1 or 20-1. There's a rumor going around that Davis has front-runner tendencies, that when things get tough, he might break under pressure. This idea has been quietly talked about, especially among people who know him, like fighters from the D.C. area such as Lamont Roach, who grew up around Davis and fought him in the amateurs. As the fight went on, it seemed like this side of Davis's mindset was starting to show. Given the relatively easy opponents Davis has faced in his career, Roach knew he had to be careful not to attack too quickly. He had to pace his pressure and gradually build it up, understanding what he was up against. As the fight went on, Roach realized his approach was slowly forcing Davis to react.
It was a great event. Great event. It was a great fight. They put in a fantastic performance. Both of them did, for real. Both of them really did put in a fantastic performance. It was a great fight, all that good stuff. It was a draw. At the end of the day, people are unsatisfied. I feel like,
Davis's fouling and the idea that he might have tried to bite at one point weren't very clear, but the knee incident and other moments suggested signs of mental fragility. While Davis is physically talented, some argue that he's mentally weak. The key to handling a front-runner like him is to take the fight into the later rounds, where he might start to break down. Fellow lightweight world champion Kassan Davis also shared his thoughts on the Tank versus Roach fight, giving his opinion on whether he thought his namesake was exposed during the bout.
BBC title and defend against him, so I don't know what that's going to bring us. But let's move on to the main event. GervontaDavis and Lamont Roach. Certainly, I think the draw controversial, but I think Lamont Roach wins the night. I think his performance wins the night. Here's the thing, though. Lamont Roach was always a solid fighter, solid fundamental, and I'm going to reiterate what I said before. Solid fundamental fighter. Nothing that wows you, though. No crazy speed, no crazy power.
I don't think he got exposed. I just think Lamont was better than everyone expected him to be. Lamont
Any
can
of y'all
really
had
fight.
me getting knocked
I thought
out
Tank would.
to all
Knock
this.
him
I'm
out,
going.
but he
I'm going to
proved
go
me
back and
wrong.
look at y'all
Lamont
pages.
is better
I
than we
promise
gave
you.
him credit for, but I
Promise
don't
you.
think Tank got
I
exposed or
promise
anything
you.
like that.
I'm
said
so
Cassian
glad the
Davis.
fake boxing media not here neither.
After Davis's
Two-tone,
disappointing
showbiz.
performance against Roach, unbeaten world champion Cassian Davis spoke up, claiming he could be the first fighter to beat Tank if given the chance. On the Come and Talk to Me podcast, the WBO lightweight champion expressed his confidence, saying, "I've always been confident in myself to beat Davis after our sparring sessions together. I've always felt that when I really do fight him, it's going to be a little easier than I expected, just knowing myself, my size, and what I bring to the table. So, I've always felt real confident about getting in the ring with him."
Solid fundamental fighter who's been well-schooled, well-taught, and well-balanced. And that's who he was tonight. His sense of positioning allowed him to catch and shoot in some spots. He had a mentally strong game plan in terms of he was trying to hold ground a lot and sort of back up GervontaDavis. Davis still, you know, when you really think about it, he ends up fighting a Lamont Roach, who's a 130-pound champion, been a perennial contender for about 10 years, finally won a world title. You bring him up in weight.
Cassian Davis believes that if he fought Tank, it wouldn't be a physical brawl, but more of a strategic chess match, and he's confident. He's simply smarter than Tank. He's sticking with his confidence level at a solid 9, even after the Roach fight. Legendary top-ranked CEO Bob Arum also shared his thoughts on Davis's performance during an interview with Sean Zid on March 28th. Arum said, "I thought Roach won the fight. It was a close fight. I think Davis has to start taking boxing seriously. You know, it's not just a media kind of thing. I don't know the kid, but he seemed sort of ordinary." A rematch between Davis and Roach seemed likely for this summer, but newly crowned WBO lightweight champion Cassian Davis has his own ideas about what's next.
Lightweights, tough lightweights that are out there, you go outside the weight class to defend the title and get a smaller guy, which is something that he'd done already before with Garcia a couple of years back. The guy he fought before Ryan Garcia. I don't know, man. You know, I can't keep reiterating how disappointing GervontaDavis has been as far as the resume.
Davis told the Danza Project that a fight between him and Roach makes the most sense. "Me and Lamont Roach, stylistically, is the hottest fight in the weight division. Lamont stood right there with Tank, the hardest puncher in the division, so put him up against me. I'm not going anywhere. We're going to fight. Ain't nobody scared of nobody. It's all about the bread at the end of the day." In a perfect world, Davis added, "If I can have it the way I want it, thank God to Lamont Roach for making a name in the 135 division because we needed somebody. Let's be real, now we've got a new person. If I get my way, Shakur and Tank should fight. Let them do it and I'll fight Lamont. Don't do the rematch yet." In the interview, Davis took on the role of promoter, suggesting a plan that would likely excite many fans. He said, "Whatever the outcome between Lamont and I, or Shakur and Tank, they can still do the rematch. It's two incredible fights, an incredible fight for Tank and another great fight for Lamont. Then Lamont can still go away and fight Shakur." The Norfolk native emphasized that this would create great matchups for everyone involved. And that's all for now. For the very best updates on news, moments, events, and actions in the world of boxing, stay connected with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you get notified when we drop quality content like this. Until next time, peace out.
In my opinion, I feel like me and Lamont Roach, stylistically, is the hottest fight in the weight division.
Yeah.
Lamont Roach stood right there with Gervonta, the hardest puncher in the division, right? Ooh. So put him up against me. I'm not going nowhere.
Y'all really gonna box, man.
We're gonna fight. I feel like stylistically, that's one of the best matchups in the division.